guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, August 2nd, 2024. Welcome to another eBay video. Today I'm going to be discussing more about feedback extortion and how eBay often tells us as sellers to try and draw out the buyer into saying things through eBay messages in order to prove that the buyer is at fault and in order to incriminate himself. This is where I say we need the help of Lieutenant Columbo to succeed. This is what it's come down to when eBay sometimes asks us to play Detective Lieutenant Columbo. Unfortunately, he's not here, so we have to do the best we can with what we have. So in today's video, I'm going to present my case of current feedback extortion. Normally, I would show you screenshots and I'd walk you through everything and this and that. Right now, I can't do that because this is still going on, this particular case. All right? So that being said, I'm going to get right into the case. When I'm done with that, I also want to talk about another eBay glitch that popped up earlier this week and some other eBay issues. But first, let's talk about the feedback extortion. And I'm going to be using my phone to read everything to you. I recently sold an item to a buyer, some items, and he got them. The price was originally $36 plus shipping. He sent me a best offer of $30 plus shipping, which I accepted. Upon receipt, he started right in, and he wrote, "Just a heads up. A lot of these caps had broken teeth and are not usable. I would like you to return some of my money or I can go through eBay." Now, all he had to do was file for a return request. I accept returns for any reason within 30 days, but he didn't do that. So I knew I was going to have to draw this guy out and really go fishing, as they say. So I wrote back, "What is it you would like to do? Would you like to return all of them for a full refund? I'm very willing to work with you. Let me know what you want to do." He replied, "Only one set was usable. I mean, it would have to be at least $40 back." Now keep in mind, he only paid $30 for the items. As soon as he said that, I knew I was going to be in trouble and I needed to protect myself. So I called eBay, or should I say I requested a call back from concierge. While I'm speaking with the concierge rep, the following messages are coming in rapid succession. First one, "What are you thinking?" He's in a rush for an answer. 2 minutes later, "Well?" with a question mark after it. By that time, I had gotten off the phone with the concierge representative, and I see I'm dealing with one of these nervous Nellies who's in a rush, the kind that's going to send repeated messages. So I decided to immediately draw a line in the sand. Here's what I wrote. "What's the rush? Are you about to turn into the Great Pumpkin? I'm going as fast as I can. I had to look up the order, and then I remembered that I even sent you 4 extra caps with that order. That being said, as I said earlier, I want to know what you want to do. Do you want to return everything for a full refund? That would mean all 20 pieces, or would you prefer to keep them? You talked about a partial refund, but you never did say what you prefer. So let me know in the next message what you prefer." He wrote back and said, "You sent caps that didn't fit the specified vehicle, and 90% of them were broken. What good do broken caps do for me when it's a waste of money, so please refund me my money, thanks." Okay, before we go any further, there was no specified vehicle. What I sold was a lot of assorted for a cheap price to get rid of them. So that's wrong. Number two, 90% were not broken. To my knowledge, none were, but let's just say one or two broke. I also gave him four extras. Notice he still wants his money back and is making no effort to return the items. Now I know I'm onto something. He then responds with another message 2 minutes later. How much of a partial refund? I asked and you never responded. eBay covers their buyers with a 100% money back guarantee, so work with me or I'll go through eBay. Oh, he's going to go through eBay. Now, I should tell you that before I called the concierge rep, I checked the feedback that he left for other sellers, and it's absolutely disgusting. Almost everyone was a negative, and the few that weren't negative said something like this: the buyer worked with me to make it right, which tells me that the buyer gave in and gave the guy a partial refund, and this shows he's been doing this with all his eBay sellers. So when I called concierge, I made the representative look at that. And the representative was, in fact, concerned and said to me, listen, Joe, right now in the transaction, I really can't do anything for you because he hasn't actually done anything to you yet, but we're going to keep an eye on this. However, right now I'm typing up a report as we speak, which is going to go to Trust and Safety, because this guy appears to be abusing the eBay feedback policy, and we don't want buyers like that on the site. Now, I do believe that the representative did file the report. I do not believe eBay will do a single thing against him because they don't care. End of story. Now, to get back to my situation. As I said, his last message was that he would go and work through eBay. I'm going to go through eBay. As soon as he said that, I said, I know what to do. I wrote back, okay, I think that's best. Go through eBay. File for a return today, right now. And when I get the 20 items back, I'll give you a refund. He writes back, 1 minute later. I'll also be leaving a review so people know what kind of service you provide. Like I didn't see that coming. 5 minutes after that, go ahead and just give me a partial refund and I'll throw away the broken ones. I don't have time for all this nonsense. And I'll leave it as no negative feedback. Now, I don't know what he's saying by I'll leave it as no negative feedback. Does that mean he's going to leave me positive? Does that mean he's not going to leave any? Or does that mean he's not going to neg me? I don't know. It's too ambiguous. 2 minutes after that, can we come to a deal? I respond, I told you to go ahead and send all 20 caps back to me, and I'll give you a full refund, including the shipping you paid. Earlier, you had asked me for $40, which I cannot give to you because you only paid $30 for the items. He then wrote back, just go ahead and give me a partial. I don't have the time. I found one good set. I'm good with a partial. Still, he doesn't want to send the items back, and he's not saying how much he wants. He keeps saying partial. He ain't getting $40 back. And I wrote back, how much do you want? You still haven't told me anything. Then he wrote back, I'm good with splitting the cost with you. By the time I send them back, get the money, and buy another pair, it's just better for me to keep this one good pair and split the cost with you and call it done. I wrote back, you paid me $30 for all the items. Are you saying you want $15 back as a partial refund? That's where we're at right now. because this is ongoing. This is ongoing. Before this year, anytime a buyer threatened negative feedback, bad review, anything regarding feedback, eBay was very good and they would cover us. They were the best. Now they've gone a complete circle. No, they don't want to help us. They don't care what the buyer says. He can threaten with impunity. It's his choice. It's his opinion. That is eBay's new stance on that, which you all know already because you've all had a taste of it. It is basically near impossible to find any eBay sellers in eBay Motors with 100% feedback, because motors is a very difficult category because most people don't know their cars. All right? Usually people who engage in threats and feedback extortion are repeat offenders who've done it many times. In the past, I've always exposed them and showed you what they've done. As I said, right now I can't do it because this is still in progress. If he doesn't neg me, I'm not going to expose him. There's no reason to. I know he'll do it to someone else, but hey, I can't be the only one fighting the fight. If he does neg me, you'll know it. Don't worry about that. So yeah, that is the crazy incident from this week on eBay. If you guys had any crazy incidents, please feel free to comment them below. Earlier this week, there was a serious glitch on eBay that had people running scared, and even I was a bit concerned. For a while earlier in the week, people were not able to search eBay regarding buyers as far as the feedback they left for their sellers. They were still able to do it if they were searching a seller like me who had an eBay store. But if they were searching somebody who had a buyer account, just a buyer account, they were unable to click on feedback left for others. And people were scared. And I was scared. Not going to lie about it. That is an invaluable tool, because like the incident I just showed you now, had I not known this guy was an offender, I would have had nothing to show the eBay concierge representative. But thankfully, I had the facts all lined up right there. I was able to show the rep, and he noted it. As I said also, eBay is not doing anything about it, and I got to be honest with you guys. I'm going to get a little bit of vulgar here. It pisses me off. Why? Years ago, when I was out in Vegas at one of the eBay Open events, on stage, they made a point of telling us that there were checks and balances in place to make sure bad buyers like this did not abuse the feedback system, and if they did, eBay, the bots would catch it and they would act. That was all smoke and mirrors. Over the last few years, just think about me. Don't think about anyone else. Think about me. How many times have I showed you abusive buyers, seriously abusive, that have been leaving almost all negatives and neutrals? Way too many. And if that's just me, one guy, think about how many others are doing it. I think that's pretty scary. And I think it's shameful, absolutely shameful, that eBay does not have checks and balances in place like they promised us, because they don't. Next item I want to talk about is something that has been irritating me for a long time. It's eBay nag messages. You can set your clock by this. And in fact, I'll put money up on this. If anybody wants to take me up on a bet right now, here's what I want you to do. On Saturday evening or Saturday night, I want you to go on eBay in the category you sell in, and I want you to pick, let's say, 6 or 7 items. I want you to just view 6 or 7 items. View them, look at them, click on it, look at it, move on. Okay? If you want to put it in your watch list, you can, but you don't have to. Just view them. I guarantee you, the very next day, if not the same night, you'll hear the piano music on your phone and you'll think that you have an offer or a question from a legit buyer. No, it's going to say two words, recently viewed. Why? Why is eBay pushing us like this? It's been going on for a while, but in my opinion, it's getting worse. I defy anyone watching this video to take that test on Saturday night. View 6 or 7 items in the category you buy and sell in, and you watch. No later than Sunday at noon, the nag messages will come rolling in. Recently viewed. I know what I recently viewed. If I want to buy it, I'll buy it. Or if I want to wait and snipe it, I'll put it in my watch list. But come on, eBay, you don't need to do this. It makes people not want to buy the item. I tell you, a while back, I had a couple in my watch list and I was getting bid to win, still available, seller takes returns. Screw that. I immediately took them out of my watch list. eBay, what you're doing is counterproductive. You're like an old hen who's nagging her husband every day. Please don't do it. Stop it. Sales this week were quite slow. And I'm going to tell you something. This entire summer was pretty poor. I got to be honest with you. I think this has probably been the slowest summer in my 25 years on eBay, and I'm not 100% sure what to attribute it to. As I said in last week's video, my cheap items are still selling. Anything over $50 is not going anywhere. Under $50, yes, those items are still moving. Over 50, no. And I had quite a few people contact me and echoed those sentiments. So feel free to jump in, tell us what you've been selling. And basically, is it just your cheap items that are selling? Or are you selling your more expensive stuff too? The only thing good about being this slow is my returns have slowed up. So I have that going for me for what it's worth. But every time I come out here and say that, I get a return the same night, or maybe 2 or 3. So I guess I'll have to be on the lookout for that. I really don't have much else to talk about this week. It's been very lackluster. So I'm going to leave you with those thoughts. Please keep in mind that I'm Crazy New York Driver and you're not. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and informative. And if you have anything you want me to discuss next week, put it in the comment section. And I hope you guys make a lot of sales on eBay. I want now you to rock on and peace. So yeah. And keep this in mind. eBay is still the best place to sell your used items. That hasn't changed. Some of the policies, no, they're not that good. And we need to work on that. And if we all stick together as sellers and voice our opinions, maybe we can bring about change. Please don't be a lemming who sits in the back row, complains, and does nothing. Speak up. Be heard. I'll see you guys next week.